Hello everyone, and welcome back to another RuneScape video. In today's video I'll be covering updates or moments in RuneScape's history that caused a large amount of players to quit all at the same time. A couple of these updates are seriously controversial and still have major effects on the game to this day. So, I present to you 5 updates that could have killed RuneScape. Number 5. Economy crashes. Now this isn't one specific update, but rather a large combination of them. Whenever the RuneScape economy crashes, it oftentimes means that many popular items worth a lot are now worth only a fraction of what they were previously. A prime example of this could be when the EOC was released. Many expensive items such as Dragon Claws crashed and burned when it came to their pricing. They previously cost around 30 million GP, but today you can pick up a pair for just 350k. The EOC is not the only time the economy has crashed though. Anytime a major update happens to any skill, items are bound to both go up and down quite a lot. Double XP weekends also cause the economy to destabilize very quickly. Weeks up until the weekends start, resources are doing nothing but constantly rising. Once the weekend starts, everyone stops buying. Once the weekend is over, the market is then flooded with all the new resources that have been collected, causing prices to go down massively. In conclusion, market crashes can be very frustrating because in a matter of days, your 500 million GP bank could be worth no more than 50 million. Number 4. RuneScape 3. Back when Jagex decided to change RuneScape 2 into RuneScape 3, there was lots of controversy occurring around the game. Players felt the game was changing very quickly and too fast, seeing as how the evolution of combat was released just a few months prior. The update to RuneScape 3 changed 3 main things: the game client, layout, and the era the story was set in. Most players weren't mad about the HTML client and storyline changes, but the new layout tore the community apart. The RuneScape layout had followed the same basic layout since the release of RuneScape 2, and Jagex felt it was time for a change. The new layout allowed for a lot more customizations, but many players didn't want to spend hours relearning how to play and simply quit. To get a true feel about how much RuneScape 3 was hated at the time of its release, you can check out his trailer on Jagex's YouTube channel. The amount of dislikes is almost equal to the amount of likes. Number 3. Microtransactions. Microtransactions, or MTX, were introduced with the Squeal of Fortune and later Solomon's General Store back in 2012. Players seriously disliked these updates, especially the Squeal of Fortune. Through the Squeal of Fortune, you could basically buy experience by using real-life money. You were never guaranteed to get XP in a certain skill because the experience lamps given to you were always random. You also had the ability to spin for chances of winning the 200 million cash prize or lucky equipment. Although the equipment is untradeable, it still gave players with real-life money the chance to get ahead. Although the Squeal of Fortune was later removed, it was immediately replaced with Treasure Hunter in 2014, which followed a similar concept. The Solomon's General Store, as mentioned previously, was released on July 17, 2012. Players preferred this option of MTX far more than the Squeal of Fortune, but still had issues with it. Solomon's allowed you to purchase cosmetic overrides for your armor and weapons, as well as hairstyles, titles, emotes, and various other cosmetic add-ons. Although most items today are still cosmetic, at least a few do give some form of in-game advantage. These updates caused a large chunk of the player base to quit as they felt the game was becoming unfair, while some others felt that MTX made the game too easy. The Solomon's General Store and Treasure Hunter still exist in the game today. Number 2. Removal of Wilderness and Free Trade. The removal of Wilderness and Free Trade was an update that a large part of the community rallied against. This update was the cause of the well-known pay-to-PK riots. This update was intended to combat real-world trading and bots from earning any profit off the items they gained. Although this did end up working, many players felt part of the RuneScape experience was ruined. In fact, many players only played RuneScape to PK. Luckily for all the PKers, Jagex also introduced PK worlds in this update. In these worlds you had the ability to PK anyone, anywhere. Although this did quell some users' anger, they did have to make changes to the way you received your opponent's items after they died. This was also the update that introduced Bounty Hunter, a minigame based completely around the idea of PKing. Regardless of what Jagex tried to keep everyone happy, massive amounts of players quit. Overall, the update was very effective at ending real-world trading and gold farming accounts, but the update was eventually reverted a few years later, after 91% of the community voted yes to its removal. Number 1. The Evolution of Combat. The Evolution of Combat is arguably the biggest update to RuneScape since the release of RuneScape HD. It was an entirely new way of fighting other players and monsters, introducing things such as abilities, the ability bar, and removing special attacks and poison dragon daggers. Back when the update was first announced, players never seemed to like it much and believed that the update would kill RuneScape. When the beta was released, there was a very mixed bag of opinions about it. The beta testers couldn't really decide if they liked it or not. While the numbers in Jagex's official polls shows very split opinions from just the beta testers, polls ran by YouTubers and forums open to the entire community showed massive hate towards the update. When it finally came close to the release dates, there was nothing but rioting seen absolutely everywhere. Players rioted all the way into the countdown clock at 0 and even after the update was live. Jagex themselves have admitted the update was very rushed with only 4 months of beta testing and have gone back multiple times to polish features and fix things. A few years later, the community has for the most part recovered from the massive amount of players who quit and have accepted the EOC. Now that it's far more polished, most players enjoy the system and Legacy mode exists for those who don't. Well, that's all I have for today's video. I spent hours just researching all these different topics, so a like would be very much appreciated. If you'd like to see more content from me, then subscribe to my gaming channel and follow me on Twitter. Lastly, if you'd like to see more RuneScape content just like this, then don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you next time.